All right, and welcome back. Here it is, finally, the engine is going on the aircraft. I think I got this engine finally, I want to say September, sometime between July and September of 24, I believe. And it's been sitting in a crate ever since. I've been kind of hesitant to install the engine on the aircraft just because I've seen several videos of people who have put the engine on and then realized that they forgot something and took it back off, and did that a couple times. So I was trying to avoid that. So I installed an insulation material on the firewall, which I've not seen most people do that, but I just felt that it would help with some of the noise and also some of the heat coming through the firewall. Not that it's really been noted as a problem, but I figured might as well, why not? So I put that on, and then once I got that figured out, put on the engine mount, and then finally decided it's time to put this engine on. It's been sitting in this crate long enough, and so I decided to tackle it. So here you see me putting on the governor for the constant speed propeller, and you install it, make sure the teeth are all aligned, and then you have to adjust it on the end, which is what you see me doing there with the tool that they've got, and you align it so it's halfway in its settings. So now I'm finally getting into the process of putting the engine onto the engine mount itself. I had to borrow a engine hoist from a friend. Rob, thanks for letting me borrow your engine hoist. So one of the concerns I've had with this is lugging this thing around by myself, trying to lift it up, trying to line it up to the engine mount, and then getting it installed all, just on my own. But it actually was pretty simple, didn't have any issues. It went right on, and it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Once you get it pushed into place and you work the engine mounts into their positions, kind of preload everything and get them ready to go. The one thing I did forget to do is there's a washer on the two bottom engine mount vibration mounts that I forgot to put the washer on. So make sure that when you're looking at the drawings that you pay attention to where the washers are and where they're supposed to be. So it is something I found in another post or another builder's website, and said, oh yeah, I forgot. So make sure you put that in. Then once you get it all put into place, then it's just a matter of torquing it down. Now on the left upper mount, you do have to modify a crescent wrench to be able to get around the head of that bolt. It's takes some finessing, but once you get it cut down to size, it's actually pretty easy to do. Just you're going to sacrifice one of your wrenches. There's a lot of tools that you will modify quite a bit in your build, and that just happens to be one of them. So as I was saying, there's several videos out there where folks had to put the engine on and then they had to take it off a couple times because they forgot something that they needed to install in the firewall, and it was just easier without the engine being there in place. So I tried to go through and try to visualize what all would need to be done prior to putting the engine on. So that's one of the reasons why it took me so long, as I said. But so far, it seems like everything is pretty straightforward. I put on all of the electrical cabling and the fuel hoses and all those kinds of things that attach to the firewall, and I don't know that there's much more that I'll need to worry about. So I think I did okay there. One of the things I'm going to look into is a second battery for the dual electric ignition system. So hopefully that is going to be something I can install somewhere else. So this is it. This is the engine. It's hanging in all its glory, and I'm happy to say that it went on really easily. As you can see here, everything is in place. I've got the dual electronic ignition on there. This is the Thunderbolt version of the IO390-EXP119. Went ahead and went forward with all that. The benefits seem to be pretty decent for just a slightly higher price point when I purchased, and so I'm pretty happy with that. So now installing the fuel lines to the fuel pump. This is going to go onto the fuel flow monitor the cube. And it's kind of weird, but you build a bracket with the rubber clamps and you clamp it onto the intake piping coming into the cylinders, and it seems to be a pretty tight tolerance. So I'm going to look at it again. I'm not sure I like how it sits. There's just some parts where it sits, and here's the fuel flow cube. And just some parts where it sits real close to the pipes, and I'm just worried that it might vibrate and cause issues later. So we'll re-examine and we'll see if I decide to modify it a little bit or stay with it where it's at. So this is just going to be finishing out real quick of showing this installation of the fuel flow monitor. Like I said, this whole process of putting the engine on was pretty nerve-wracking because it's a lot of money hanging from that engine hoist, but all in all, worked out really well, and I do like seeing the engine finally on the aircraft. Anyway, that's all I got there. We'll see you guys next time around.